Hey out there, Bulbasaur fans, Professor Bulba here, ready to bring you
75
plus Pokemon facts. Let's get to it. Bulbasaur's Japanese name, Fushigi-dane, literally means "isn't it strange?" which is also a pun on mysterious bulb.
Bulbasaur.
Ivysaur's Japanese name, Fushigi-soyu, can be taken to mean "it seems strange" or "strange grass." Venusaur's Japanese name is Fushigi-bana, and of course, this was a pun on Fushigi-no-hana, translating to "it's a strange flower." So altogether, it goes, "Isn't it strange?
It seems strange.
It's a strange flower." And just for fun, according to the Pokemon manga, Venusaur can close its bulb.
No, that is not a Bulbasaur. Look closely.
Due to the original design of Charmander's having spiny processes sticking out of its back, fans have speculated it is related to Cubone. However, no official connection has ever been confirmed. So far. Probably ever. Charmeleon, its evolutions, Flareon, Moltres, and Infernape are all the same species and are known as the Flame Pokemon. Charizard could not legitimately learn the HM Fly until Pokemon Yellow and onward. So in Generation 1, nope, couldn't fly. Although its name is most likely a combination of Squirt and Turtle,
Squirtle.
some fans have speculated that its name is a mix of Squirrel and Turtle and support this based on its squirrel-like looking tail.
Squirtle.
Wartortles, according to the Diamond and Pearl Pokedex entries, are said to live for 10,000 years. We learn in the anime that Gary chose Squirtle as a starter.
Too good for ya? I knew it.
This is known because he uses Blastoise to fight Ash in the Pokemon League. Caterpie's Pokedex entry mentioning releasing a horrible stench from its antenna is reference to the real-life caterpillar it is based off of and its foul-smelling organ, or antenna, known as an osmeterium. Metapod is usually depicted with a white sclera, such as in the games, trading cards, and promotional illustrations, but it has been yellow in the anime. According to Ash's Pokedex, Butterfree. 1 week after Caterpie evolves into Metapod, it again evolves into Butterfree. This explains how Metapod are able to evolve in the wild without battling, because, as we've seen in the anime, it doesn't really battle. Well, it battles, just sucks. Although Weedle appears to be yellow, its color, according to the Pokedex, is actually more closer to brown. In a few instances, Kakuna has been depicted as having movable appendages. Despite having put a whole forest of Beedrill asleep in episode 4, Ash decides not to catch a single one of them. So much for catching them all. Pidgey's Crystal Pokedex entry states, "It rapidly flaps its wings in the grass, stirring up dust clouds that drives insects' prey into the open," suggesting that 1, there are insects in the Pokemon world aside from Pokemon, and 2, Pokemon do eat living organisms. Pidgeotto's Fire Red Pokedex entry states, "The claws on its feet are well developed. It can carry prey such as Execute to its nest over 60 miles away," suggesting again that Pokemon eat other Pokemon.
According to Pidgeot's Fire Red Dex entry,
"When hunting, it skims the surface of water at high speeds to pick up unwary prey such as Magikarp." Yeah, it's been confirmed. It's a Pokemon eat Pokemon world out there. Youngster Joey and his top percentile Rattata, or Rattata, however you want to say it, are well known in the Pokemon fandom for calling you out of nowhere and to brag about his Pokemon. Oddly enough, even though his Pokemon evolves, he still refers to it as Rattata over the phone. Raticate's Pokedex number is 20, which is also the level it evolves at. So far, Raticate is the only Pokemon to hold this nifty number neatness. Spearow's Japanese name is Oni Suzumi, which is a combination of Oni, demon, and Suzumi, meaning sparrow. Spearow's Japanese name is Onidrill, which is a combination of Oni, demon, and, well, drill. In its original artwork, Ekans had several yellow lines through its body, but in the game and anime, it appears to have lost it. Arbok's Emerald Dex entry states, "This Pokemon has a terrifically strong constricting power. Once it wraps its body around its foe, escaping is impossible." And by impossible, they surely mean 2 to 5 turns.
Pika Pika!
Pikachu once touched a Thunderstone and didn't evolve. Raichu was depicted riding on its own tail to surf in Pokemon Stadium long before its alternative form came to be. Sandshrew goes through a major spray change from Generation 1 to 2, and then what seems to be stabilized Generation 3 onward. Sandslash's original name in English was going to be Sandstorm. But what's better is its Japanese name of Sandpan.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandpan. Yes. Bring me a dream. Bum 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 bum. I want a shiny, one perfect IV. Bum bum bum.
Nidoran females lose their horn when they evolve. Nidorina loses its ability to breed after it evolves. Although depicted that there are baby Nidoqueen in the movie Mewtwo Returns, that is incorrect for several reasons. 1. Nidoqueen can't breed. 2. The babies would be Nidoran of either gender. And 3. They would need moonstones. When Nidoran male breed with a Ditto, it can come out as either gender. An early version of Nidorino was featured on the original Capsule Monsters covers,
Fighting the ugliest Gengar I've ever seen.
Nidoking's shiny sprite.
Looks like a drag queen.
However, a shiny Nidoqueen does not share the opposite, which would be Nidoking. Before the fairy type attribute existed, Clefairy was a fairy based on its species type. In the Pocket Monster manga, Clefable was able to de-evolve by eating several moonstones and making silly faces. According to the Pokedex, Vulpix is born, but with one tail, and they split as they age. Ninetales was spelled tails rather than tails as a reference to the 9 sages that were reincarnated into this Pokemon. Unbeknownst to most, the Jigglypuff in the anime was actually a shiny. Look at a normal Jigglypuff versus a shiny Jigglypuff. The difference is in the eyes. Both Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff are known as the balloon Pokemon, which makes sense when you read Wigglytuff's dex entry for Sapphire. By inhaling deeply, this Pokemon can inflate itself seemingly without end. This also explains Jigglypuff's special in Super Smash Bros. 4. According to Pokemon Stadium, Zubats do not have eyes or noses. According to the Fire Red Pokedex entry, it clamps down on its prey with needle-sharp fangs and drains over 10 ounces of blood in one gulp. That's about 30 cc's or 30 milliliters worth of fluid. Oddish has a scientific name, which is Odium wanderus. This is given to it in the Fire Red Pokedex. Gloom, although depicted like Zubat in not having eyes, in fact does. Vileplume, according to its Sapphire Pokedex entry, Vileplume has the world's largest petals. They are used to attract prey that are then doused with toxic spores. Once the prey are immobilized, this Pokemon catches and devours them. Can you imagine being fully aware as you were devoured whole? Yikes. In the anime, it was depicted that Paris can easily detach the parasitic mushroom on its back. Parasect's sprite colors seem to change over the generations. Despite all the controversy and endless videos on Venonat versus Butterfree, there is no conclusive evidence to suggest that one was meant to be the other or that they're related other than correlation. And as we all know, correlation does not prove causation. Venomoth, in its early official artwork, had yellow spots on the back of his wings. This was later removed in further generations. Also, in Generation 1, Red and Blue, the bottom part of its body was more circular than the sprites now depict. If Diglett gets a new form in one of the games or somewhere hidden in the game data, it should be just feet. Having said that, in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, it was revealed that Diglett does in fact have feet. In Generation 2, the Ground Around Dug trio would change color if it was shiny. This has not been the case since Generation 3 onward. Meowth seems to be based on the Japanese legends of Maneki Neko.
That's right!
Maneki Neko are often used as charms in restaurants and shops to bring customers good fortune or good luck. Ever wonder the significance behind Giovanni in Persian? Persian is known as the classy cat Pokemon and holds a gem on its forehead. Basically, it demonstrates that the boss has a taste for the finer things in life. Sorry, Meowth. In the anime, Misty Psyduck caught itself. Golduck's shiny sprite took a radical change in variation. In Generation 2, it went from having a darker form in its normal state and a lighter shiny form to exactly the opposite in Generation 6. Now it's darker when shiny. Mankey first appeared in the trading card game for the Fossil expansion with this well-known picture. But in Japan, with the release of How We Became a Pokemon card in May of 1999, this kick-ass variation of Mankey came out. It looks like a bunch of Mankeys working up the courage to steal apples. way better card. Even though Primeape doesn't have a tail, it can still learn how to use Iron Tail. Ugh, well my mind just went into the gutter. Growlithe, despite having orange fur, is categorized as brown in the Pokedex. Much controversy exists around Arcanine and its status of legendary. Its species name is legendary, and in the second episode of the anime, when Ash is looking at a stone tablet of the 3 legendary birds, Arcanine is also there. However, based on its Pokedex entries, it would seem it was seen as a legendary based on its speed, rather than being a legendary based on being rare or scarce. Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon's favorite Pokemon is Poliwag. Poliwhirl has a great inconsistency with how its hands are drawn. In some sprites, it shows it having fingers, but in others, it appears to be more like a glove. This glove, or mitten-like state, has stayed since Pokemon Emerald onward. Poliwrath's Gold Dex entry mentions a real-life geographical location. This strong and skilled swimmer is even capable of crossing the Pacific Ocean just by kicking. Abra's Japanese name is Casey, in reference to Edgar Casey, whom was known as the Sleeping Prophet. If you look at Abra's Dex entry, it states it sleeps for 18 hours a day. And, to no coincidence, the birthday of Edgar
is March 18th.
See, these are the neat things we're missing with translations. To prevent future litigations of
Some weird guy who claims to have powers.
this guy, no further Pokemon cards of Kadabra were made. Help fix the issue with getting an Alakazam onto the battlefield, and Abra with the ability to evolve directly into Alakazam was made.
Alakazam!
Its yellow entry reads, a Pokemon that can memorize anything. It never forgets what it learns. That's why this Pokemon is smart. Okay, first of all, I love how it has to explain at the end, this is why the Pokemon is smart. Like, as if you couldn't piece the puzzle together. And second of all, if it never forgets anything, why can it only remember 4 moves? Ooh, shots fired.
Alakazam!
Machop has a tail that is lost during evolution. Also, though not an official fact, the very first time I saw it playing Pokemon Blue, I definitely thought it was a rock type like Geodude, and I was hella confused as to why Grass wasn't super effective against it. Machoke has a gender ratio of 75% male and 25% female. That's right, there is a 1 in 4 chance that the shirtless Machoke you're looking at is indeed female. In Generation 1, Machamp only had 4 fingers, which later changed to 5 in Generation 2 onward. Bellsprout's Ruby and Sapphire Dex entry states, a Bellsprout's thin and flexible body lets it bend and sway to avoid any attack, however strong it may be. From its mouth it leaks a fluid that melts down iron. Despite that, Steel-type Pokemon are immune to poison. Even Steelix, who is the Iron Snake Pokemon.
Boo, boo.
Most Pokemon have a footprint in the Pokedex, but not Weepinbell. Perhaps because it has no feet and floats instead. Victory Bell's anime cry fits in perfectly, replacing the high note at the end of the song.
It's easy 'cause you're beautiful. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Tentacool's original English name was to be Jilly, which is nowhere near as cool as it is now. According to multiple Pokedex entries,
Tentacruel
has 80 tentacles. I've seen enough hentai to know where those are not going. Anywhere near me.
Geodude.
A shiny Geodude looks like gold. However, upon evolution, it looks more like Dude. In Pokemon Red and Blue, Graveler only has 2 arms. Generation 2 onward, Graveler then has 4. Although in Generation 1, it can learn Fissure through TM27, it's practically useless because if its speed is lower than the opposing Pokemon, which, come on, it would be, it automatically misses. If you want to see more, check out part 2, which should be released soon. So just click right here or look in the description below for the link. This has been Professor Bulba, signing out.